What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Swing Trade Shack back at it again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about AMC as per a viewer's request. April's here. It's historically been one of the best months in the stock market over the last 20 years. So we should all be excited for what we may see this month from our AMC bulls. I'm going to give a brief overview of the short squeeze's current status, outline some of the recent news, key levels to watch, and I'm going to be giving my take on where I believe the price is heading in the coming weeks. We're currently on the road to 500 subscribers, and once we hit that goal, I will begin to release videos teaching you how to do your own technical analysis. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, as it helps me improve the content I provide, and subscribe for future videos. Now, before we start, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Now let's get into it. So I've had a lot of people asking that I talk about some short squeeze data in relation to AMC. So I'm going to be giving a brief overview, just so you have a general idea of what's going on, what are people talking about in regards to this. So let's look at a couple numbers. These are this is some fundamental data for AMC. And what I want to focus on for this portion of the video is just the shares outstanding, which is 480 million. This is the number of shares currently held by shareholders. And then the float, 233 million. This is the number of shares available for investors to trade. So essentially what people believe in regards to the short squeeze is that as the shorts continue to short and people continue to buy, at some point, the shorts won't have the same liquidity that they once had, as less shares are available for them to be short on the market. Pretty much due to all of our what you guys would call our diamond hands people. Now, I want to show you this. This is the short interest chart. Okay, shows how much people are interested in shorting this stock. And as you can see, it's been rising. So look where it was in January. If you take a brief look at our chart, what happened in January? We saw a bit of our squeeze go up to highs of $20. Now, what is it doing now? It is even higher than it was in January. Okay, so that's one sign that is leading people to believe that we have a huge short squeeze coming. Another thing to look at, institutional ownership. Now, what do we see here? 66 million bought, 1 million sold. 27K bought, 0 sold. Now, I don't know how accurate these are, but they are give you a general idea of what's going on. And as you can see, no one's selling. Everyone is buying this stock, which is a good sign. It leads people to believe that the shorts eventually will have to cover. And as the float slowly decreases, they're going to have to pay us to get those shares back. And with that, the supply will be much lower, demand will be higher, therefore prices will go up. So that's essentially what is driving people to create all these crazy price targets for AMC, that it's going to go to $1,000 and however high else people are saying. Now, this is a very optimistic belief, and there's there's too many moving parts involved in a stock price's movement, such as what we saw in the recent news. So let's actually look at what we saw in the recent news. So there was news publicized that AMC may do an offering for 500 million shares. Originally, all the news articles were branding it in a way that made it seem like they were going to be doing it. There was no questions asked. It was happening. However, they are voting with their shareholders to approve them doing it. Now, a lot of people are upset. This does lead to short-term price movement towards the downside, as it is negative news and it dilutes the shares. However, something that people have to consider as well is that AMC is still a huge movie chain, and regardless of whether the short squeeze happens, they still want to raise some money so that they can continue to operate in the future, which is a good thing in the long term as well if you do plan on holding the stock long term. So if the squeeze were to happen, everyone took their profit, it just makes sense for them to position themselves in a way to benefit from all of this attention around their company. So is this negative news in the short term If it does happen, yes, because it does dilute the shares, increases the share float. But if you're looking at this from a long-term perspective, as people continue to buy, it doesn't really change too much in the long term. So now let's take a look at how this recent news has been priced into the markets. So as you could see, we did see pretty, not too big, but we did see declines near the end of the week on the release of this news. I want to start off by looking at the weekly time frame. So what do we see on the weekly time frame? So after our demand zone was met, we saw price rocket up, make a lower high, and it began to reverse at this resistance level of 1438. So on the way up, we actually broke this resistance level, and it is now being tested as support. In the way it's been tested as support, we saw a big bearish candle, followed by a small bearish candle to end this week. Volume getting lower. So what is that leading us to believe? It believes that this resistance level is now being tested as support. First week of April, we might see a nice bounce to the upside, hopefully breaking through this downtrend line and retesting this resistance level. Price is still trading above all the moving averages, 10-day EMA, 20-day EMA, 50-day moving average. So based on the weekly, we are looking good. We're looking primed to bounce off the support level. So that's good to see. Now let's look at the daily chart. So let's just break down what we saw on the daily. So we saw our initial move to the upside, $20. Move back down, consolidation here, created our demand zone. Okay, when we broke out of the demand zone, we began to see move to the upside. So impulse move, then our pullback. Next impulse move, and now we're seeing our pullback. So when you're looking at market structure and you want to understand price just cannot break this low here that was made on the previous pullback, because that's when it invalidates the trade and we may be seeing price move in the opposite direction. So as long as we don't go below this zone, which I have marked out as 795, this trade is still looking good. Okay, so we had our resistance breakthrough, tested as support. What did we see on the first test of this level? We saw a bullish engulfing pattern. If you don't know what that pattern is, look it up, because it is a very bullish pattern. It is a very strong candlestick. A lot of people are looking at this. Higher volume as well. We saw a move away. And with the recent negative news, we are seeing a retest of this zone. Relative to the moving averages, we're still trading above the 50-day moving average. And now that we're seeing this second retest of this zone with the 50-day moving average approaching, this moving average also acts as a support. So combining this with our support zone, we have a stronger support zone here that is likely to provide us with a bounce and hopefully a retest of this trend line, break, touch to the previous resistance level. Now, if we were to get that, you are looking at about a 56% move. So there's a lot to gain from this type of trade. An important zone to watch for us to see this bounce is that this zone at 892 holds up. If we do see a break of this zone, we will see a retest likely of this zone here, which was the previous low of that pullback at 795. If we see a break of this zone, which would pretty much just invalidate this trade as a bullish trade, and we will likely see a retest of this demand zone, which would be my next place to buy. So these are just the important levels that you need to watch, as a lot of traders will be looking at these levels. And when you combine them with other catalysts, it helps increase the probability of that trade going in your direction. You have your multi-level of support here. So this is a pretty important area for us to watch. If that breaks down, 795, if that breaks down, you don't want to be in this trade, as it will likely be going back down to $6. Now I'm just going to go to the hourly chart to talk about what happened on Thursday. So as you see, we opened up at about 10.22 and throughout the day went lower, lower, lower back to our support zone. Now if you look to the left, as you can see, this was the zone that was previously a resistance, broke through, got retested. We saw a good bounce here, which we may see again here. Now, if we don't see this, likely that we retest this zone at 796. And what happened there? We saw a double bottom retest, break, move to the upside. So this is also another strong support zone for us to look at. There was very low volume today. It was flat, so pretty uninteresting. Monday will be a big day to dictate where the price will be moving for the week. So just watch these key zones and it will help you understand if it breaks this zone, which zone will it be moving to next. So to summarize that, these are your key zones to watch. If we get a break of 795, this trade is invalidated and you don't want to be in it as it is likely going to retest 601. So it will look something like this. And if we see our bounce here, first target would be this resistance level at 1438 after we break through this downtrend. And that is about a 55% gain already. So just be patient. Don't worry too much about these fluctuations on the dailies. Like you saw a day down of 9%, but until we break this zone at 796, it doesn't really matter too much in the longer term outlook because we're still bullish on the charts. So, like always, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like, comment, and subscribe. This one is a bit of a longer one because I wanted to give more of a full analysis. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know down below. And once again, subscribe for future videos. Peace.